What is going on, guys? It's your boy Collins. We're back again with another tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you guys exactly how to make this effect. This effect is inspired by this TV show called Umbrella Academy. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I haven't watched the full entire thing, but I really love the visual effects in that series. I watched the clip online. Was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and try to recreate this effect for you guys. And on top of that, show you guys exactly how to make this effect. Now, before we jump into the tutorial, this is exactly how I want you guys to film it. I want you guys to give your camera to someone, right? So let someone else hold your camera for you. I want you guys to walk, and the camera's kind of like following you as you walk into this portal. We're going to be using AI, specifically from Higgsfield, to actually make this effect look so cool. But either way, you're going to get amazing results. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump into the tutorial. As mentioned before, guys, we will be using Higgsfield to actually help us create this amazing effect. It's so easy, it's so simple, and it's not hard at all. So the very first step, guys, into creating this amazing visual effect is, first, I really want you guys to go ahead and film your footage. And I need you to film your video like this. So what I did was I went outside, and what I did was I had my girl hold the camera for me. And while I'm walking towards the frame, I create this. Well, I kind of like move my hand like this, and I spread my arms wide to sort of like open up a new portal and, you know, put me in a different dimension, if that makes sense. My footage was actually shaky, so I added a stabilization effect to the video in CapCut. And what I did was and then I rendered it into a new video. So my video itself was shot in 920 by 1080 pixels. And of course, the frame rate is 24 frames per second. And so that's pretty much what we're going to be working with today. So the first step is importing your video into Adobe After Effects. And all I want you to do now is, what I want you to do is go ahead and bring your footage into a new composition. Once you've done that, select both clips, and all I want you to do is place them into a new folder. And I'm just going to rename this folder to footage. We're not going to be using a lot of visual effects assets for this specific shot because primarily everything that we're going to be building, it's going to be directly inside of After Effects, but you can always feel free to add different kinds of elements to make the effect look cool. Now, I highly recommend filming this in a well-lit environment because it's really going to allow the AI to actually pick up your motion and you walking and all that kind of stuff. It's really going to help you. It's really going to help settle the effect. Well, there are two different ways. You can film yourself walking in one frame or in one scene, and then in the next scene, you're walking in the same exact area, and then you can apply some visuals to make this look really cool. There are two different ways to make this happen, but it's all entirely up to you and how you decide to go ahead and go about this effect. I prefer using AI to help me out because with the AI, I can build a whole entire background while keeping the camera and the motion and the camera and the consistency of our character the same. It's really cool. So what I want you to do first, what we're going to do is, you see this footage itself. This is my video. First, let's hop over to Higgsfield.ai. So what I want you to do is go ahead and go to video, and under video, click on Kling 01 Edit. So click on that, and pretty much you should have something like this. This should open up. So pretty much with Kling 01, just to show you guys a little bit of how it works, Kling 01 allows you to pretty much take the same exact video and do all kinds of crazy things to it, like change the object, change the shadow. Like, it's so good. Like the way the AI actually puts everything together. It understands lighting. It allows you to change your background entirely, add different kinds of things to your scene, keep that image consistency, and it keeps the face consistent. It's so good. You know what I'm saying? The AI has gotten way better. So I personally love using Kling because you can actually do amazing things like smart cleanup, where you can actually remove things from your background. Like, you can do amazing things with just typing in a simple prompt. So I highly recommend really using AI to really help you out. You can do recoloring, you can do extend and keyframe. Like, you can do amazing things, guys, amazing things, and keep everything absolutely consistent. So we're going to be using Kling 01 for our specific tutorial. And so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to upload the video, this specific video that we have right here, into Kling 01. Now, As the video is actually loading, what we can do is we can type in this simple prompt, right? What do we want to do? We want to tell the AI to place us in a complete different background. So what we can do is you can type in whatever you want. So for me, I'm going to say, place my subject in a brand new background. I want you to place him in the Arctic. And make sure his face and clothes remain consistent. Also keep the camera movements consistent. And then once you finish doing this, just make sure the resolution settings is set to 1080 pixels. You can leave it on auto settings because auto settings allows us to keep everything automatic. But assuming if you don't want auto settings and you wanted to change the duration, you can play around with the duration. You can change the aspect ratio as well too. So for me, I'll keep the aspect ratio completely the same. I mean, I'll change the auto settings. I'll leave it on auto settings, and I'll change the resolution to 1080p. And all you got to do is just hit generate. Once you click generate, boom. We'll give it a few minutes while this thing is still cooking up, right? It's going to take some time. It's currently generating, and it's going to take some time for this AI to actually put everything together. Now, let's come back to After Effects. Now, since we're back in After Effects, we're going to do something amazing. And here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to go ahead and highlight our subject starting from right here. So what I want you to do is move your time indicator somewhere around here, and I want you to hit Control D to duplicate the layer and trim this a bit. Move the time indicator a few frames forward. Actually, I take that back. We want our subject to start this thing right around here. So let's just say right here. Right here is where we want him to begin. His body's going to start glowing up. And then we're going to move right here. And then boom, right here is where we're going to stop. We're going to hit Control Shift D to split the layer. And we're going to go ahead and rename this to, press Enter to rename, and rename this to Body Glow. And then, of course, you can turn off the sound and change the color to maybe like a bright yellow. And then what I want you to do in this process is hit Control S to save your progress. Save the progress and save the project. Now, here's what you're going to do. We're going to click on this specific layer. We're going to come all the way over here to the Roto Brush tool, and we're going to double click this, and we're going to basically roto our subject. So go ahead, select your subject, and begin rotoing him, right? Select him. Excellent. Just make sure you select his body and hold Alt or Option to deselect unwanted areas. Make sure his body is fully selected. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to look good. And then all you have to do is just press play. And you should see that the roto remains consistent. You can pause and adjust and pretty much just, kind of like key him out, if that makes sense. Now, once you've done that, you should get something like this. So if I were to solo this, you should see this. Incredible. Now let's apply a few couple of effects to this specific roto layer. Go ahead and click on the selection tool. Click on Decontaminate Edge Colors. And under Decontamination, go ahead and increase the radius a little bit. And go ahead and see where it says Extend, where it is smooth. Just select that a little bit. And then go ahead up here at the feather. You can change the feather properties to 8. Play around with the settings because my video is completely different from your video, right? It's completely different. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll include a practice video and also the sound effects video. The link is down below, so you can go ahead and check it out so you can use this to practice. Now, hit Control S to save. Now, once you've done that right, you should get something like this. Incredible. Now, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to apply a glow to our subject. And the way this works is I want you to come all the way to the Effects and Presets tab, and I want you to go ahead and search up glow. Now, if you don't have the optical glow plugin from Red Giant, I highly recommend getting it. The link is down below. Because because I will be using the optical glow plugin. But let's just say you don't have the optical glow plugin and you want to use the regular After Effects glow. You can apply the After Effects glow plugin to the body glow. And all I want you to do is come all the way over here to the glow colors and change the original colors to A and B colors. And of course, change the A and B colors right here, the A color to a light blue and the B color to sort of like a darker blue or something like that. And all you want to do is you want to play around with the threshold. You can increase the threshold a little bit and then increase the radius and then the intensity to give it a little bit of some extra brightness. So play around with it so that your subject looks something like this. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks something like this. You can do this if you want to. But if you don't want to, then we're going to use the other one. So usually I want you to create it, make it look something like this. Feel free to, let's decrease this a bit. Let's increase the threshold. Let's decrease the intensity just a tad to something like this. This looks good. You can keep these settings right here. So for the color A, this is the number. the color number. Okay. Color B, this is the color number for those who will be using this specific plugin. Excellent. Now I'm going to delete it. Now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the optical glow plugin because this is my favorite. I'm going to change the alpha channel to extend unmult. I'm going to change the color to a blue. Boom. The inner tint, let's do a something like this, and then we'll leave the outer tint to white. And then all I'm going to do is unsolo this. So we get something like this. Now, feel free to apply the same effect to the shadow. You can do that, but it's unnecessary. But you can do this, and it should look something like this. See that? And so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure the uniform size is unselected. And we're going to set a keyframe on the amount. Come over here into this layer, click on body glow and press U on the keyboard. Move this time indicator a few frames forward. And what I want you to do is decrease this a tad to 0. So what we want is we want a slow animation of the glow coming on our subject's body. And then boom, that happens. Hit Control S. Now here's what we want to do. We're going to come back to our roto layer and we're going to click on Shift Edge and we're going to increase the Shift Edge so that the edge around our subject is also illuminated just a tad. So it looks something like this. Boom. You see that? Boom. That's what we want. Hit Control S to save. Okay, so let's take a look at the video we have created. Let's see. Okay. This is actually not that bad because I'm going to show you guys a really good trick to really highlight this, right? So sometimes you notice how the camera is so pushed far back, the AI is not able to pick up your face very well. But the whole idea is we love what the AI has created, and that is the background. So if let's just assume you don't necessarily like this very well and you want the AI to work on a better video for you, then I highly suggest making sure you film yourself closer to the camera. Now that we have this video, what we're going to do next is we're actually going to go ahead and download this specific clip. So what I want you to do is go ahead and click download. And once you click download, it should be directly saved into your computer. Coming back into Adobe After Effects, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and double click this area, double click that area and go ahead and import your video. This is the AI video. Now, if you guys really pay attention, you will notice that the video itself is in 1940 by 1068. So the dimensions is not 1920 by 1080. So the dimensions is just a little bit different. So here's the thing. We can always fix that with advanced editing, all right? What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and click on that AI video and bring it into our composition. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and change the, of course, the color itself to a brown. Of course, you can also turn off the sound. And then while you've layered this directly on top of our video, what we want to do is if you go ahead and turn it off, you will notice that our subject is in the same exact position, right? You notice how the AI completely changed everything? The AI did something amazing. And what it did was it completely removed the background and placed us in some sort of Arctic background based on the prompt that we typed. So here's the trick. What I want you to do is if you come all the way over here into these sides, right? You can see, like, you can look at this side right here, and you can look at this specific side. Matter of fact, let me change the color to a brighter color. Let's do orange so you guys can see it. So if you look over here, right, you will notice that the line itself is pushed away a little bit from the video frame. So what I want you to do is grab the edge and then just move it closer, right? So that it's in the box, and then come all the way over here at the bottom and repeat the same process. That way, our video completely fills up the frame. Because remember, the dimensions were 1940 by 1068, right? And our video is, our actual video is 1920 by 1080. So we had to make it 1920 by 1080. Now, if you turn it off, turn it on, everything sits right on top of each other, right? So since our effect is kind of like starting right around here, here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to come all the way over here, and I'm probably going to go ahead and hit Control, select these two layers and hit Control Shift D, and then delete these two endpoints. And then I'm just going to select everything, and I'm going to offset this right around here, because our effect is going to start like this. As body glows, boom, moves us into a new dimension. Hit Control S to save. Now, I want you to come all the way at the very end, somewhere around here, and press N on the keyboard. Right click this and click Trim Comp to Work Area. Turn on this layer, and we're going to do some cool stuff. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to roto our head. Because remember, if you pay attention, if I turn on this AI video, you can't really see our subject's head very well. You can tell that he's moving. You can tell that he's wearing the same attire. But the problem is we can't see his face very well, right? There's a huge problem, because remember, like I told you, it's because we filmed this video far away. So you can't really see the face very well to capture enough detail. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and click on this bottom layer. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate it. And we're going to bring this to the top, and we're going to press Enter on the keyboard, and we're going to rename this to Head, right? Or Head Roto. And then we're going to turn off the sound off of that. We're going to change the color of this to maybe this color right here. And we're going to place this at the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and crop this out so that it begins right here. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on the Roto tool, and we're going to apply the Roto brush tool to our subject's head. So click on the Roto tool up here at the top and double click this head Roto layer, and then press Control plus or Command plus to zoom in, hold space to offset this a bit, and then go ahead and draw a roto around our subject. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the whole idea is we want to make sure we're getting the head right. So move to the next frame and allow the computer to capture our subject's head perfectly. Now, every time you see that it doesn't capture the head very well, just go ahead and, deselect those unwanted areas, move to the next frame, select it again, and just keep doing this until the computer is perfectly tracking your subject's head. Now, remember, it doesn't matter. As long as we're getting the head, this whole area, it doesn't really matter whether the roto comes all the way down here. It doesn't really matter, because I'm going to show you a couple of things. So just do it like this and move to the next frame, to the next frame, to the next frame. And just make sure you make sure that the footage itself is being tracked perfectly. Perfect. That looks good. Hit the selection tool and then come all the way back over here to the composition layer. And then, of course, you can always close that. So now we have a perfectly tracked head. We're going to apply the exact same effects as we did for the first roto layer. We're going to come over here, decontaminate edge colors, scroll all the way down, increase the radius, and make sure we extend the smoothness just a tad. That's it. Control S. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to look good enough. Something like this. Now, here's what you're also going to do. You're going to go ahead and click on you see this pan anchor point tool? Click on the anchor point tool, and on top of the roto layer, click on this anchor point tool and place it at the base of his head. Click on the selection tool, and all I want you to do now is I want you to unsolo the roto layer, and let's go ahead and let's turn on our AI video. Look at that. You see? Now, there are a few couple of tweaks we might need to do to make sure that everything matches perfectly. First, I think we might need to feather this out just a tad. So click on it and click on Shift Edge and just reduce the Shift Edge to like maybe like -6 or like -8. And hit Control S to save. And let's come back over here at the beginning, zoom in just a bit more, hold space. And what we're going to do is we're going to enable motion blur and make sure on the head roto, press P on the keyboard to reveal the position. Set a keyframe on the position and then move a few frames forward. So the areas where it seems as if our subject head is not connected to our subject's body, you're pretty much going to move along the keyframe and you're just going to reposition your subject's head over his body so that it matches perfectly. Right? The goal is we want this to look as real as possible, but at the same time maintaining consistency. So we're going to come all the way over here, enable another keyframe, move a few frames forward, move this right here, move a few frames forward, move this down here, a few frames forward, same thing, a few frames forward. And just keep doing this and keep repositioning this until your subject's head is perfectly masked to this thing. Right? Boom. All right. So that's one thing. Let's see. We're going to keep it right here. Right here. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and enable that keyframe. Right here. Right here. Hit Control S to save your progress, or Command S to save your progress. Bring this down just a tad. Let's see. And of course, you guys already know we're going to apply some blur and some other stuff to it so that, we don't, because we want the face to be seen, but we don't want the face to be too seen, if that makes sense. Like, I want you to know that my face looks real, but I also don't want you to see my face all the way. And that's pretty much it. So now if we zoom back out and if we press play, this is what we got. You guys noticing how it's really coming together? You see that? It looks real. It looks like I'm actually outside. It looks like I'm actually out there. Now, all we probably have to do is apply some color to our face. Like if you guys really pay attention, because of the brightness of the snow and because of the color outside, what we're going to most likely do to our subject's face is we will definitely apply this effect called brightness and contrast. So go ahead and grab brightness and contrast and place it on top of our head roto and reduce the brightness just a tad. That's it. For me, -24. That's it. That's it. By the way, I will include all the assets of this specific video inside of the folder, so you guys can actually use to practice. Now, once we have done that, let's apply just a tint of blur. Search up Fast Box Blur and drag Fast Box Blur on top of the head roto. And all you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and click on horizontal and probably type in 1. So if you type in 1, we get a little bit of some kind of like fuzzy blur around our subject's head. Now remember, even though the head is not perfectly tracked to this very well, you can always like add a lot of cool stuff to kind of like enhance the look. See that? That looks amazing. I don't know about you, but this looks really amazing. See, we're getting somewhere. That is it, guys. We are getting somewhere. Now, here's what we're going to do next. Now that we have the head roto on lockdown, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and place a lock on it for the meantime. And for now, we're just going to go ahead and turn it off. And we're going to go ahead and hide the layer. So the layers that we're not working with, we're just going to hide them. So just make sure you do exactly what I just did and click on this specific button right here to hide the layer. Bless you. So what we're going to do now is, it's a very simple trick. We're going to go ahead and we're going to crop this AI video a little bit. And what we're going to do is, you see this part, the moment our subject opens his arms like this is when the background begins to appear in frame. Now, to do this trick, we're going to do something really cool. We're going to click on the pen tool and we're going to go ahead and draw sort of like a mask over our subject's body. Something like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but the more, mask endpoints you add, the better it looks. Press on the video, press M, and maybe change the mask color to something darker so that we can see. Excellent. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and open up the mask settings, set a keyframe on mask expansion, and all I want you to do is move a few frames forward and just crank this expansion all the way up so that it fills the entire screen. Once you do that, hit Control S to save. Press F9 on your keyboard. F9, not F solo and then 9, the number, the F9 at the top of your keyboard. Press that F9 key to enable easy ease so that the animation is pretty smooth. So it looks something like this. You see that? That looks incredible. Hit Control S to save. Here's what you're going to do. In the same effect, I highly recommend, you guys getting this specific plugin. It's Chromatic Chromatic Displacement. I take that back, from Red Giant. If you guys do not have the Chromatic Displacement from Red Giant, your effect is not going to look good. I'm telling you guys this right now. It's not going to look good. But you can always play around with different like displacement map and turbulence displays to create the same look. But the Chromatic Displacement plugin from Red Giant is the best. Grab the Chromatic Displacement plugin. And by the way, the link to all these plugins are down below. And drag that into this video. And here's where we're going to play around with the settings. We're going to come all the way over here. And what we're going to do is, we're going to go ahead and enable these two keyframes, like set it, enable the keyframes. Come over here into the AI video and press U. Come all the way over here to the very beginning. And what we're going to do is, we're going to come here and we're going to go ahead and tweak this displacement amount. So increase the displacement amount to something like this. The soften displacement, matter of fact, you can make the soften displacement something like this. So now when you play, it looks like this. All right. All right. Boom. And what we also want to do is, we want to click on these keyframes and we're going to press F9 on the keyboard again. And we're going to move this all the way at the end. So it looks something like this. So what you can do is select its two keyframes at the beginning and move it forward just a tad. Actually, move it here. And then maybe over here at the beginning, you can tweak it just a tad to like something like this. Looks like this. Like that. Like that. Boom. We want that slow fade transition, this transition to be absolutely smooth. So crank this down to 0 over here. And this is where you pretty much play around with the keyframes to get this look that you're looking for. Right? Boom. Hit F on the keyboard and feather this out a bit, like this. So if you don't want this to drastically open up that fast, right, you can press U on the keyboard and maybe move this a bit. This mask expansion keyframe a little bit like this, so that the animation can be slower if you want that, right? And hit Control S to save. What you can also do is unhide these layers, bring back the head roto, and turn it back on. So it's going to look something like this. Now, what you can also do is You see the same roto layer, the body glow roto. You can stretch it out just a bit, right? Stretch it out a bit more. And let's double click it. And let's turn off the glow. Let's come back to the roto layer. And let's come back here and we're just going to roto our subject again in this frame. Just roto him out again and unselect these areas. Move to the next frame, next frame, next frame, next frame, next frame, and just move, keep moving. Like that. So it should look something like this. So let's see, we're going to come all the way over here. It started highlighting these areas like down here. So we don't want down here to be in our video. So we're just going to deselect that area. We're going to deselect this area as well too. So just make sure that it's not picking up anything that it's not supposed to be picking up. And once you do that, just keep pressing play like this. So it's going to look something like this. It's going to look something like this. And what we're going to do is with the glow, as he enters into this new dimension, we can go ahead and click on it and towards the end. So towards the end. So we're going to press U for the glow amount. We're going to come all the way over here. We're going to set a keyframe right here and then come towards the end. And we're going to decrease this to 0. So it looks like this. Right? So far, not bad. Not bad. Now, feel free to apply the same glow effect, right? By hitting Control C and then coming over here to the head and then just come back over here at the very beginning, click on the head and then press Control V. So that the same effects applies to the head. You see that? Boom. He splits open the rift and the rift slowly opens up. Now, what you can do is, like I always say, you can play around with the animation of the rift. So you can press M to reveal the mask expansion, double click it or triple click the M to reveal the mask expansion in that layer. And what you can do is he can open the rift up slowly. So you can even move the keyframe a few frames forward like this. Like this. So it's like he opens it, boom. And then poof, we get this whole sort of like a whoosh of the rift opening. All right. And if the rift is opening too fast, remember I told you, you can always feel free to move the expansion. Like this. Maybe we want something like this. Set a keyframe here, and then you can move this keyframe down here a little bit faster so it can be like this. Because the goal is we want it to look as if like the moment he does this, the rift is opening behind him. And then it takes time for it to reach towards the camera, right? So it's like, boom, he's inside this new world. And then as far as for us, it's taking us a long time for us to see it. You see that? Now that's really cool, right? Nice. Now, you can add more things to spice this up. Let's do this. We're going to add a bulge effect. Right click, go to new, and click on adjustment layer. In the adjustment layer, just feel free to crop this out a bit, move it over here. Feel free to hit Control S to save. And then in your adjustment layer, go ahead and search up bulge. Drag the bulge layer in here and offset it down here. And what I want you to do is I want you to increase the size of the bulge to something like this. So as our subject opens up like this, it should create this bulge look. So crop this out a bit, hit Control S to save. And all I want you to do is we're going to play around with just the taper radius. The bulge height. Make sure you click on pin all edges. There we go. Just come all the way over here and set a keyframe to bulge height. Come to the beginning and change the ratio or the number to 0. So it should look something like this. Boom. Right? Boom. And then come out over here and then change this also to 0. No, not to negative, to 0. So it should look something like this. Feel free to place this under his body. So it should look something like this. So it appears as if the background is affected by this rift opening, right? And feel free to go ahead and set a keyframe on the center, right around here, and move it up. Move a few frames forward and move it up like this. Ooh, if I move it up, it looks weird. Actually, matter of fact, don't even do that. Hit Control Z. All right, it should look something like this. This is perfect. Now, what you can also do is we can add, actually press the adjustment layer, right, and rename this to bulge. Perfect. So now we know everything. Click on the bulge layer and hit Control D to duplicate it and bring it up here. And what you can even do is you can add sort of like distortion. So right click and enter and type in heat distortion. And what I want you to do is go ahead and delete the bulge layer off of that effect and then go ahead and come into the presets and search up heat distortion. If you guys don't have heat distortion, it's by Video Copilot. It's like what, $21 or $25. It's very cheap. Just buy it. It's really good. And it's a one-time payment for a lifetime supply of this plugin. The best plugin I've ever bought. Grab the heat distortion plugin and drag it in here. And we're going to add some distortion. So what I want you to do is go ahead and crank the heat amount to maybe like 15 or 18 or 16. 16. Let's do 16. And what I want you to do is increase the scale just a tad. And the speed dramatically. Increase the speed to like 2.74. And the distortion amount to maybe like an 8. And draw, click on the rectangle tool and click and hold and click on the ellipse tool and sort of like draw a circle somewhere around here and then reposition it, offset it somewhere right here. So it should look something like this. Let's see. And just do this. Boom. And hit Control S to save. And what I want you to do is press F on the keyboard and feather the edges a bit. And all I want you to do is press M, triple click M, click on mask expansion, and come out over here at the very beginning. And then just decrease this to like negative 226. Come all the way over here towards the end, somewhere around here. And then increase this insane so that it covers the whole screen. Actually, don't do that. Just, increase it to like 138. And then press T on the keyboard, set a keyframe on opacity, move all the way down, and decrease the opacity to 0 to slowly fade out. Now, if you press play, let's have a look. Let's have a look. All right, the distortion is absolutely minuscule, but you can still see it a little bit. If you really, really want to see it, you might want to increase the noise speed. And you definitely want to increase this to like, maybe let's do 3.5, right? And then you can always increase the distortion amount to like a 10 if you really want to see it. And if you press play, you should get something like this. Perfect. So it looks something like this. Not bad, not bad, not bad, right? So that's something you can honestly add to it. Now, here's another thing you can also do as well too. So you can go ahead and click on the AI video, which is our subject, which is our video itself, right? And there's a thing I would like for you guys to do. So go ahead and enable, just solo it and click on FX to remove the effects from it. In fact, click on FX again and then click on FX up here to remove the chromatic displacement from it. I would like for you to search up this effect called Luma Key. Click on Luma Key and drag that into the AI video. Now, the thing about Luma Key is you can actually completely do this crazy effect where you can key out the bright layers and then it has this sort of like slow animation where the bright areas can either come in frame or out of frame. It's all dependent upon you and how you decide to do it. So we're going to use this Luma Key out bright layer effect. Make sure it's not set on key out dark area to key out bright area. And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and leave it at 255 when the time indicator is right here, and go ahead and enable set a keyframe over here and come all the way at the beginning and reduce this to like 0. And let's also solo this bottom layer as well too. And let's go ahead and let's enable the chromatic displacement plugin. Now come into the chromatic displacement plugin and click on source masks. And if you press play, it should look something like this. See that? So we can also get this effect where the whole background comes into play like this, right? That's one way to do it. If you would like that way, you can always do it that way. Like for example, if we were to just keep everything off and we were to give it a go real quick, this is how it would look like. It opens a rift and then everything comes into play. Like there are different ways to go about in this effect. You see what I'm saying? So let's try it again. Let's give it a go. But me personally, I don't like that look because it seems like it's reversed, right? I don't like that. I don't like how it's like the edges are now coming in. It doesn't look right for me. So for me, I wouldn't use Luma Key for this effect, but I wanted to show you guys that there's a way you can honestly do it like that as well too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that Luma Key effect since we're not using that. And what I'm going to do is, since we're using the standard portal opening look, we're going to go ahead and apply this glow layer to it. So let's come back to the body glow and click on this optical glow plugin, hit Control C, and then we're going to go ahead and click on this AI video, and we're going to go ahead and hit Control V to paste. So it's going to look something like this. We get this portal opening, and then we have this immense glow before we can actually start seeing what's going on in this new world. So let's press U on the keyboard, and let's close the mask, let's close the chromatic, and let's only leave the optical glow. So for the glow, right, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete this last keyframe. And we're going to go ahead and over here, we're going to change the amount from 25 to like something like this, 9. Click on the uniform size, and you can actually increase the size a bit more. So it's a bit more brighter. Feel free to change this from 9 to like let's try a 4. Because I don't want it to be too bright, but I want it to be bright enough, if that makes sense. And if you press play, let's have a look. Something like this. Let's see. So what I would do is most likely I'll have the glow disappear faster. So bring this last keyframe down here and press F9. So it looks something like this. Move this keyframe somewhere around here and press play. There we go. Something like this. Boom. We are getting somewhere. Let's press play. So it's like that. Boom. enters into a brand new space, and then the portal starts opening around him. This is looking really good. So let's play around with the chromatic displacement a bit, because remember, you could always play around with it to get the look you're looking for. So let's come right around here, this area, and let's adjust it a bit, right? You can actually play around with it a bit. You can either do some pretty cool stuff like this. You can increase the size. You can, do whatever you like. Something like this. Let's give this look. Let's try this look. So it starts like this. It opens, and then it gets normal. And let's just say that we wanted to get normal quickly. So we move the last keyframes closer. So let's have a look. Something like this. Let's try this again. There we go. That's not bad, right? Boom. It's not bad. So, that's one way to go about this, and making this effect look really cool. The reason why the other effect that I did looked really cool as well too was because the camera or the footage itself, I filmed it from the back side, right? If you film yourself doing this effect from the back, it looks way cooler because it appears that the camera is following you into a different universe. This one appears that it appears as if he's walking and then the camera the background itself changes. The other one appears like as if you're following the subject into another universe. So if you really want the best look, I highly recommend filming this from the back, like the way I did it over here. You see that? I did this look, boom. And then we entered into a brand new place. So you can do it like that too. Feel free to add a few more things to make this look cool. You can always adjust the chromatic aberration and some other stuff to make this look really, really cool. It's all entirely up to you. So I'm going to grab the sparks. Maybe I will grab 1 all the way to 10. And I'm going to import it here. I'm going to place it into a new folder and rename this to VFX. And let's take a look at these sparks. Now you can feel free to add these sparks to your video. The moment he kind of opens the rift, right? He kind of does this. You can add the spark to your video. So you can apply it here and turn off the heat distortion if the heat distortion is slowing down your computer. Just go ahead and click on toggle switcher sim mode and enable this to add. Hit S on the keyboard and reduce the scale. And then just bring this here. And if you press play, so you can always add a couple of spark elements to this to make this look cool. So you could throw in a couple of things here and there, just to spice it up a bit. Let's take a look at the second spark. We have spark number 4. So we can click this. We can, let's see. We're going to go ahead and click on this layer, sparks 2, and duplicate it. Hold Alt or Option on your keyboard. Click on sparks 4 and drag it on top. And then probably let's do some rotation. So I'm going to click on rotation on sparks 4. And I'm going to rotate it upside down just a tad. So we get this look. Something like that. Boom. Something like that. You could do that. Feel free to go ahead and click on the, let's see, I'm going to click on the AI video itself. I'm going to come right back into the chromatic displacement. And right around here, I might play around with this a little bit. Let's soften this a bit. And let's press play. Something like this. Let's see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this. And let's see if we do it like this. Let's move this down here. Let's press play. And let's see if that looks right. It looks like everything just snaps back to normal. So I'm just going to leave it the way it was. Like that. Or I can do this. I can just go ahead and just offset this like this. Let's see. That doesn't look right. This looks way better. Okay, so now that we have added some sparks, you can always add some, smoke distortion. Like, for example, Action VFX, which is my gun smoke effect, which is the gun smoke number 4. I can drag that in here, and I can place that on top. And pretty much the idea is the moment he opens the portal, we get this smoky look. So this one, you can actually place this right on top of the subject's head. So it looks something like this. So he's appearing to enter into a brand new portal. There we go. So it looks something like this. It's a simple effect. It's not too hard. I mean, it depends on how cool you want to make it look. If you really want this effect to look that cool, then again, I highly recommend filming this from your back and then pretty much using the exact same tutorial to create it, if that makes sense. Now, once you're done, I mean, the process is really simple. Feel free to go ahead and change the sound effects to his footsteps, sounding as if he's walking on snow. And yeah, feel free to go ahead and add some sound effects. And of course, like I said, I'll probably include the sound effects inside of the what's it called? The folder, so you guys can go ahead and add it to your footage. And feel free to play around with this to get the look that you're looking for. I really hope you guys really learned something. This is how you pretty much mix AI with After Effects to create the best portal rift effect. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay blessed.